What is going on, everybody? We got the bullish news happening. We got so much excitement that just happened within the last 24 hours. And folks, I'll start by saying I stand corrected. Damn, and I am glad, because I was glad to be wrong on this one. I said it yesterday. I would be more than happy to be wrong about PulseChain V3 not coming out within this month. But damn, did Richard Hart ever just come back and say, bah! It's happening, son. So, guys, there's a lot to be talking about in this video. We're actually going to be talking about, of course, being careful providing liquidity. We're going to be going over how I made 492% return and how you can actually make the same. I'm going to be going over the final warning about PulseChain, and get ready, boys and girls, because it's about to be freaking game time. It sounds like launch has commenced, and essentially we are on countdown right now. So it is very smart of you to be very cautious at this point in time and don't make anything silly. Sounds even worse. Crypto Khalil, what? How could it sound worse? Oh no. How could it sound worse though? Why would it sound worse? I just got what? Sound. Alright, let's give this a shot. How we sounding now? How we sounding? Give me a little 1 in the chat. Let me know everything's sounding freaking perfect again. Give me that little 1. Let me know everything's sounding good. Oh, better. Okay, cool. Yeah, must have had the wrong mic selected. Interesting. All right, so how is everyone doing today? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, you beautiful people. I hope everything is as always fantastic. I hope y'all had a wonderful weekend, and damn, within the last 24 hours we have seen Hex pump well above 10 cents. We got more news about PulseChain, and dude, it's just bullish. I was wrong before. I stand corrected, and I'll say it again. Damn, does it look like PulseChain V3 is closer now than ever. Holy smokes. And guys, there's a lot to be going over on this one. I hope everyone, as always, is having a fantastic day. Let's take a little peeky weeky at the Hex price. We got some sellers happening right now, and that's to be expected, especially because of the fact that we recently ended up just pushing past the 10 cent threshold. You can see if you come on over here, we actually had Hex dropping or pumping all the way up, and essentially we got up to 10.18 cents. What a move, folks. This is all within the span of 24 hours. This is what a bullish tweet looks like from Richard Hart. This is what happens when you see a bullish sentiment. This is what happens when you have a whole bunch of people excited. And I am in that same boat as well, because damn, it's freaking fire. Like, my goodness gracious. We definitely got that green candle energy happening right now. That big green candle showing its face, and damn, it is beautiful to see, folks. I am always happy to check this out as well. So guys, let me know in the chat, what are y'all most excited about next? Do y'all have a profit-taking plan strategy in place already? Is there something that you've already implemented right now? Let me know in the chat. Do you have any strategy? Are you selling? Are you holding? Especially now that we have more announcements of PulseChain possibly being around the corner. I'm always curious to hear your views, so definitely let me know in chat, as well as the comments down below. I do check all the comments, and always happy to go over all of the details with every single one of you beautiful people. And you know, I love seeing what y'all got to say too. You keep it real, you keep me real, you know, and sometimes we got to have that little reality check, and this little reality check right here is bullish AF in my opinion. Look at this action, folks. Again, all within the span of essentially 24 hours. We've actually had the price move all the way up 22% essentially from yesterday all the way up to where the high was so far today. We knew the 10 cent threshold is going to be a level of resistance. It's naturally going to be a level of resistance. It's a psychological level that will have to be passed. But again, look at the liquidity right now. If you actually take a little gander, and by the way, look at this, folks. Let me just start off with saying this. look, the liquidity moved out so far now, is zoomed out so far because there's someone who put their liquidity all the way at 50 cents for the hex, and they put 6 million hex over here, basically saying, hey, I will sell you my 6 million hex. You give me your USDC, but I ain't selling it until 50 cents. So someone's already making the play right now, essentially anticipating that we could end up getting up that 50 cent threshold. And imagine what 50 cents looks like to your bags. Do the math. It's always fun to see. But if you have even just 100,000 hex at 50 cents, you're sitting on $50,000. Hopefully you were able to scoop up a big bag of hex, especially during this last little dip that we've been sitting in for about the last year. We've finally gotten out of that slump, but even right now, there's still the same hex sitting all the way over here at the 19 to 24 cent range. This hex has been here. It's actually moved up the amount that's sitting here now, by the way, because roughly it was about 3 million before, all between 25 cents to 19 cents. Well, now it's sitting, or should I say 20, but now we're sitting at 1 million here, 1 million here, 1 million here. So we're essentially sitting on 6 million hex right now, in between just the 20 cent range all the way up to 25 cent range. So people again are saying, hey, I will sell you my hex, but I ain't selling it until it ends up getting to this price. Bullish, folks. But let's take a look and gander at where we're actually sitting at right now. For those of y'all who haven't seen this before, this is what the liquidity looks like for hex. This is the USDC 0.3% pair. There are 4 pairs in total. This is probably the main traded pair in hex, which is why it's the one that I typically will focus on. Sometimes we pull up the other one, which is actually the hex versus Ethereum pair as well, and we'll take a little gander at this too. But I typically see a lot of trading and everything happening all within the 0.3% hex USDC pair. So right now, everything to the right of the red line, again, is a sell order. This is someone saying, I will sell you my hex, you give me your USDC, but I ain't selling it until it hits this price. And that could be whatever price they decided to put that limit order at, or their LP position at. The other side is saying, I want to buy hex, I want to buy your hex, I have USDC. Come on down, let the price dip down, and I will buy up some of your hex. So we have a good level of support already, all between this 9 cent threshold, even all the way down to about 9 cents. Again, quite a bit of USDC is already locked here. If I had to do the math, it would be what? 30, 60, 90, 30, 60, 90. 30, 60, 90, 30, 60. So roughly about $400,000. Again, that was super rough math. Sorry, Journey. The puppy's just right under my feet. So I'm trying to figure out where to position myself. So that way, of course, I don't disturb him, because we'd hate to disturb the puppy in his nice little level of relaxation while I'm streaming. But yeah, so we have roughly about $4 million all up to 9 cents. So that's basically saying, come on down. If you sell the price down and you can push it down this low, I'm willing to buy your hex, and I'm willing to buy your hex for USDC. I will trade you my USDC and I will give you hex. Look at this, folks. We have so much action happening all the way, essentially, and I'm going to zoom out once again, but we really don't have anything to worry about all between this 5, 6, 7 cent region. We really start getting liquidity being provided up to about 7.6 cents. So should the price end up falling that low, that's about as low as I would think the price would go as well, by the way. If I had to make any guess, again, not financial advice or anything like that, I wouldn't see the price getting down that much lower than here. Anything lower than 7.6 cents is more or less just either a quick wick, which some people will maintain their liquidity down here for a possible quick little wick. So if something just massively sells and all the limit orders get filled essentially at that point in time in one candle, it's possible that that may happen, but it's very unlikely. So we're seeing quite a bit of liquidity all within this range. Quite a bit happening, and then right about the 10 cent range is right whenever the price ends up starting to go. You can see we're right at 9.96 here, and then right at 10 cents we end up being we start losing some of the sell wall that we're running into. And again, it's hard to zoom in now, because you got to understand that order that's all the way out there at the 50-cent range now makes everything so zoomed out, which is just fun. But you have to zoom in every time now, and that's perfectly fine. Just if you ever use this kind of stuff for your website, you can definitely check it out as well. So this goes all the way up to about 12 cents, 13 cents before we really start losing this whole sell wall right here. And then it's just clear skies all the way up to 19, right? All the way up to about 17, 18 cents. We got clear skies and green skies ahead. Now, this will continue to move. We know this to be a thing. Liquidity walls move as the price fluctuates and as the price continues to go up. The reason why the liquidity being at 20 cents up to 25 cents, it's almost bringing people toward that price, right? It's helping people bring it to that price. It's saying, I'm not selling any more hex until it hits here, and that just brings the price that much closer over and over and over. Let me say what's up to everyone in chat again, guys. My name is Nathan, aka ATX Crypto. We got some banging information today, guys. We got Hex pumping, we have PulseChain news, we have a lot of excitement happening overall. V3 could truly be just around the corner now at this point in time. So for all the folks who have been saying it's around the corner, it's around the corner, well guys, great news. I think we're around the corner now. Good day to all. Hey, what's up? What's up, Gloria? How are you? Yo, what's up, Gabriel? Yeah, mic sounds worse. Yeah, appreciate the heads up on the mic as well. I definitely somehow switched it in the system, but we definitely got that fixed. And let's go. Happy 10-cent day. Exactly. Happy 10-cent day to all of you beautiful people. Thank you so much, Big GZ, Patreon supporter right there as well. Much love. Yes, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Got a 1 in the chat for better. 1 in the chat. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much on giving me the heads up on the mic. ATX Crypto, hey mate, do you see Zen? Oh shit, that's just comical at that point in time. Yeah, it'll keep tanking, man, and until like, so you got to imagine people can mint an infinite number of mints that they want to do for forever upon ever. Now, eventually, when gas fees become so absurd, they'll eventually stop minting. But until that time, you know, it's going to keep happening. So, yeah, 10 years for a 2x pump, maybe. That shit's terrible, bro. Thank you so much, Debbie G, another Patreon supporter right there. Much love to you as well, Miss Debbie G. Whoop, got to come over here on that one. Evening all. What a day to be a hexican. Monkey Magic, what a fact right there. Let's go Pulse. Big Green PP, absolutely. Smash the likey, Funkmaster Hex. Absolutely. Everyone coming in here, smash the likey. And guys, I actually just got the super chats turned on. So who will be the first super chat for the channel? That is something I just got turned on. So let's get that going. If it's something that y'all feel that is fun for everyone to have happen. Hip hip. Hooray! What's up, Finbear? Brissology, let's go. Let's go, Brissology, absolutely. What's going on, everyone? Everyone's saying hello. I'm holding until snapshot so I can have on both chains. Gloria, brilliant idea as well. Much appreciated for you sharing the comment. Fireheart, love it, love it, love it. Man, but he isn't earning any fees and it's not stakes. So not a great move, just an epic move. Yeah. Yeah, he's referring to the Brissology's referring to this right here, guys. This right here, this little green candle all the way at 50 cents right here. This liquidity all the way out to 50 cents. Massive liquidity all the way out here. He isn't earning anything though. So unless he's got his liquidity range, like, he's just not earning anything. It's just like, it's just going to sit there. So yeah, I 100% agree. It's just sitting there, not earning anything, and, you know, just going to continue to do its thing as well, and is what it is. Let's go. I wonder when Crypto 7 will do the first watch stream. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the same thing too, Finbear. You talked about the 10-cent hex. Well, boy, oh boy, we have already hit 10-cent hex. So I'm also curious as to when he's going to drop that watch stream. You know, he's talking about giving away a watch every single time the price goes from 10 cents, 11 cents, 12 cents, 13 cents, and every single time it goes up a penny from there, he's giving away watches. He's got 3 watches he's starting to give away, starting with the 10-cent hex, and it looks like we've already got that. So I'm also curious as to when he's going to be dropping that as well. I'm holding until snapshot. Absolutely. Loved the Pulp Fiction clip earlier. If you do another, who's going to be the gimp? Yeah. Thank you so much, Monkey Magic. That was a blast, dude. I had a lot of fun making this clip. If you haven't seen it already, I highly advise just going and checking out my channel as well. It's a little stream that I ended up posting for this particular one, talking about the fact that, yeah, everyone keeps talking PulseX. PulseX this, PulseX that, PulseX this, PulseX that, right? And of course, if you haven't seen the Samuel L. Jackson Pulp Fiction movie, he keeps saying what, and every single time he says what, I decided to switch it up to have it say, say PulseX again. So again, this is a little clip right here. If you just a brief little sneak peek at it, if you will. How about that? Sneak peek at it. And if you want to, I highly advise going and actually checking this out as well. My wife just got home, so let me just make sure everything is all good with her and that she doesn't need any help, but I'm assuming all is well. All right, so hey, appreciate that. Let's go. Facing Reality, first super chat in the house. Let's go. Absolutely, guys. I gotta get that written down. I gotta change the font. I'm figuring all this out. It's the first super chat that I've had come through, so I'll change all the sides of the fonts. I'll get all this done. But Facing Reality, you are the first super chat in the channel. Thank you again for all the love and support right there. I gotta make a note of that as well. We got Facing Reality first. Yep, you got that first spot. Facing Reality, congrats. Appreciate the support as well. But this is a little clip that I made, and again, sneak peek right here. We happy? Hex. We happy?
Yeah, we happy.
I don't want to get too far away, man. This is a lot of fun to make. I highly advise going to check it out. Just go to ATX Crypto and just look up Pulp Fiction, and you'll see it right there. It's I was gonna name it PulseX Fiction, but might as well spread the word for everyone and make sure everyone can see it, because damn, absolutely love making that little clip as well. T-shares, motherfucker. Do you have them? Oh wow. what 10 Top, what are you doing? That's such a good idea, bro. T-shares, MF, do you have them? Oh my gosh, dude, yes. And I'm wondering if I could just change the audio and just switch it up a little bit and just make it to where the T-shares. Oh my gosh, yes. Facts on facts. Okay, we're gonna have some fun with this. Absolutely, 10 Top. What up, what up? So testnet V3, huh? This week? Guys, I gotta stay corrected, man. I'll admit when I'm wrong, but everything is pointing toward testnet V3 happening within a week, bro. This was absolutely crazy. The GIMP to be played by Peter McCormick. Facts on facts, dude. That's exactly. Or the bankless boy who cried monkey man. Yeah, I definitely need to make the GIMP. I was going to make it Zen, which was funny. The whole idea first became Zen. But then I kept hearing everyone talk about PulseX this, PulseX that. And I was like, y'all are missing the key idea about Hex, PulseChain, and Pulse. Like, y'all are missing it, man. Y'all just don't get it. You aren't seeing it. So I'm seeing it right there. Yeah, we got a super chat from Facing Reality. First super chat in the channel. Thank you so much. Much love, Facing Reality. Much love at 10 Top. Yeah, exactly. I watched the testnet. Hey, cool. I viewed it. I thought it was funny. Thanks so much, Gloria. It was absolutely fun. We will get liquidity bonding peeps. Yep. Sure will. There will be some liquidity bonding. Watch how different your girl acts when you have a 55-55 stake come out. Hey, absolutely, Crypto Khalil right there. Like, imagine if you had held Bitcoin for 15 years. Bitcoin ain't even 15 years old. Like, you got to imagine this right away, right? Puppies just wanted to see, outside the window. But imagine for fun that again, that Bitcoin hasn't even been around for 15 years. So imagine you just got in even when Bitcoin was 3 years old, like, it was freaking $60 or something like that. And then you have a stake come out 15 years later. But not only that, it's earned that trustless yield through the entire 55 stake. And that's when shit just gets mind blowing, because then you could do something crazy like put in, a 10,000 hex stake, for example, or do something so simple and easy, right? You put in a 10,000 hex stake for 55, and then you just do some math. Like, if y'all haven't seen the math on some of this stuff, it's absolutely mind-boggling, bro. But let's just see for S's and G's, right? So we did a 55. And let's just see exactly what this would end up looking like. So if I pull it up over here, this is another website you can check out. It's hexcalc.net, another phenomenal website built within the community. But I just typed in 10,000 hex, 55, and assuming that we have the price at, again, I'm just going to say, I'll even be nice and generous and just say that hex only goes and does 1,000,000 X. So that would put it at $55. So say we put it at $55 right here. Look at where the math ends up turning into. You put a 10,000 hex stake in right now. During that entire time, you get a yield of 51,000 hex, because longer pays better, and that 6.3 daily payout per T-share. This is a average 6.35 hex per T-share. There are days where it's actually higher, much higher. And look what this turns into dollar value wise, folks. $3.4 million. Yeah, your girl gonna be happy. Your girl gonna be real happy, my friend. So I feel that for sure. Remember, Hex will be the outperformer. Remind the 40% APY. Yeah, the 40% APY is actually it doesn't even, look at this. This is literally saying this exact thing that I'm talking about. You have 34% APY showing what you actually have here, but the true APY, if you actually look at it, and again, I can't even, for whatever reason, maybe I hide myself for just a second. And close that. So look at what it ends up doing. 23,372%. That is what a true APY looks like if you were to break it down in terms of US dollar value. So this is saying that you got 34% additional hex in APY, because that's what it's all based on. You get paid out in hex, and so depending upon whatever the dollar value is at the time, damn boy, like a 23,000% APY. Yeah, like if you told someone that they could go earn 20,000% APY, they're just gonna be like, scam. That's what people have done for Hex for the last 3 years, because they can't fathom it. They can't even wrap their heads around it. If you tell people what true APY is for Hex, they can't even get close to imagining it. So we say 34%, 40% as a base number, and people are still just like, I can't even picture that, right? And it's okay, because they don't necessarily have to picture, that's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to picture it, man. You just have to put some faith in there, man. Like, is it some trust? Sure. But the fact that this thing's already run flawlessly for 3+ years without any failures, paying trustless yield every single day, yeah, dude, I'm going to be a lot more bullish in the fact that you can start committing to 15-year stakes. So let's talk about 15-year stakes for a second. So when it comes to 15-year stakes, or the 55, I've heard a couple people in the community say, don't do it until PulseChain comes out. Now, I have mixed feelings on this. Because on one hand, if you do it before PulseChain comes out, you get a copy of it when PulseChain does launch, because it's getting forked. So everything on PulseChain will exactly copy everything on Ethereum. So why would you not want to at least have 2 copies? That way, if one goes up and say in 15 years, Hex is $10, guys, and we're just super simple on this one. And then the other one on PulseChain, Hex is running like a freaking, crazy road rage, monster over here, and that one ends up reaching somewhere in the ballpark of $100, you have 2 stakes that you can then end And it would be a massive, massive opportunity. So why would you not want to take advantage of that? I've heard a few people say gas fees are going to become so crazy in 15 years. Well, guys, they're coming out with all sorts of updates to help that on the Ethereum network. They're already planning on fixing the gas fees. They know it's an issue within the Ethereum network. They know it's an issue. And so they're already working on creating items to help fix that. So even in 5 years, we may see that. And what's beautiful about that is PulseChain is forking ETH 2.0. So everything they do over here on Ethereum, we can copy and implement on PulseChain. So when gas fees get lower over here, we can make gas fees lower over here as well. The sharding capability that's going to be coming around when Ethereum creates it is going to be able to be copied on PulseChain as well. Like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to make sure that you get everything copied. Now, yes, you won't be able to set up a multi-stake instance, say for example, if that's what your game plan was on Ethereum and you don't have a lot of fees right now or a lot of money to spare, because fees and gas are very expensive. So if you are wanting to set up a staking ladder, I can see the benefit of waiting until PulseChain launches to set up a staking ladder. But again, I would just do even a small amount 15 years out just for S's and G's, man. Like if it turns into nothing and it's not there, then so be it. If it turns into a lot, and guys, I was being generous when I said $55 for Hex. Like, what if it ends up being $100, $200 per Hex? Because the further that we go, the less there is available on the market. There's less sell pressure overall. There used to be hundreds of millions of Hex traded every single day. Now we're talking millions of Hex traded every day. Eventually, we're just going to be talking about hundreds of thousands of Hexes being traded every day because the liquidity is being dispersed amongst so many other people. It's that true opportunity, and that's how it really works. So again, the other reason why people are saying that, oh, I wouldn't do a 15-year stake on Ethereum is because gas fees. Well, guys, I broke down the stream the other day. Like, I heard Dollar Cost Crypto say that, you know, Ethereum has the potential of reaching somewhere between $8,000. And that would be essentially a 4.4x from the current price. If because it's around $1,800 right now, and if Hex has the potential of reaching even just $2 on the low side, that is a 25x potential or even a 20x potential from where it currently is. So you could buy 6 times more Ethereum with the Hex that you have. So he was recommending averaging into Ethereum right now, so you have some Ethereum when the time comes. I say hold your Hex, boy. I'm not a fan of holding Ethereum. I think holding Ethereum inside your wallet is another vector of opportunity should the address ever connect to a application that is compromised. Because what they do is they actually use the Ethereum in your wallet to send it out. Like, if you already have Ethereum and your wallet gets hacked and you already have everything in there, yeah, they may not be able to see your Hex stakes, and I understand that point as well. But if you have Liquid Hex, or if you have many other tokens that are sitting on there, if you have Ethereum inside that wallet, they don't need to transfer any money in. They can literally just send that right off to their own different wallet, send it off to a different exchange, go and just spread it, you know, where it basically becomes impossible to track. So they'll take it from the Ethereum network over, switch it to a different network, and then use bridges. And it makes it very difficult to actually track to say, this is who the person is who stole the money. So again, if you have Ethereum in your wallet, you're just leaving yourself as an opportunity for someone to say, hey man, go ahead and just move it for free. You don't even have to do anything. So I'm not a fan of holding Ethereum in my wallet. But yeah, that's just kind of what I would end up saying as well. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I see this right here. Real quick, so we have, what site is that? It was the hexcalc.net, I believe, is the site that you're talking about, Gabriel. And this is the website right here. Again, if you go up, it's hexcalc, like calculator.net. So HEXCAL. I'll just copy and paste it in the chat. How about that? We'll just keep it simple. Why make it difficult? All right, so I added it in chat. So if y'all want to see the website, y'all are more than happy to check this out as well. But guys, this is just one of those simple little things that I pull up because it just kind of shows the power of compound interest, right? Like you can do all these same numbers and say Hex is only at $10, for example. You still turn something that ends up being roughly right now $1,000 into something that turns into $619,000. That's at a 10,000 hex stake for 15 years. Like, and for the most part, a lot of folks can afford to get a 10,000 hex amount in terms of the principal, and they can afford to pay the gas fee because it's a one-time gas fee that you pay right now to stake it, to burn it, to create the instance of the stake. And then once that happens, you can mint it and figure out what's going to happen at that time. But hopefully at that point, you've got your PulseX gains, you've got your PulseChain gains, you've got Hex on both networks, you got money for days so you can pay for gas fees without any issues. If gas fees end up being $1,000, you take a little bit of this profit right here of $619,000, for example, pay the gas fee. You know what I mean? Like, so that's only if Hex reaches $10, guys. Like, that is so freaking wild. Okay, so wild. But hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, there is definitely another website for staking as well. You can go to stakehex.today is kind of the other one. There's a lot of websites that we use here. Big fan of all the websites, but I'll send this one in chat as well. So stakehex.today is another one where you can actually use, for example, if you just want to see what it looks like, say you have 10,000 hex, you can do the same thing, 5,555 days. This one goes through and does math a little bit differently, so you can't exactly just tell it what the price is going to be or what you think the price is going to be during that time. Oh, that's if I did 15 stakes. Let me go back. I didn't mean to do 15. Say you only do one, for example. That would get you 1.1 T-share. I'm a big fan of getting one T-share. As long as you get one T-share, this is something I would always tell like onboards who are brand new to Hex whenever I first got them in. Get yourself one T-share, man. Find a way to get yourself one T-share. Whether that's staking out to 10 years, staking out to 15 years. The 10 to 15 is the same exact thing because the longer pays better bonus ends at the 10-year mark. However, you get the benefit of keeping that one T-share at the rate locked in today for an additional 5 years if you go with the 15-year stake. So this shows kind of the same math of what it could be. This kind of goes through and you can really start specifying where you think the price of Hex could be going forward in the future, as long as what you think the payout is going to be as well. So eventually in 2026, we could be seeing the payout per T-share sitting around 7.8 Hex. And by the end of 2028, we could be seeing it somewhere in the ballpark of 14.2. You can adjust all of these numbers and really make it just to where you would figure all that out as well. And again, this website's a little bit more, you have to adjust the numbers yourself. Whereas I think hexcalc.net is just kind of allows you to fix that right away. So let's go here, look at the liquidity right now as well. And this is actually showing, this is actually showing a whole bunch of information talking about current liquidity in Hex right now. Right now, today, there's roughly about 115 million Hex between the Uniswap V2 and V3 pools. We also have roughly about 3,200 Ethereum between those two pools as well. And then you also have roughly about $6.5 million in USDC. So we got some liquidity based in this. Liquidity has started to go back up again. And so let's talk about liquidity for a brief second. Let me see what's going on in chat. And then of course, we're going to see what's going on with liquidity because it's something that I do want to go about and talk about once again as well. So if Pulse does a 1000x, so does Hex. I can't believe people still don't get it. Yeah, Hart's Law is a beautiful thing, man. When something's paired together and you pair it with liquidity, they move together too, right? Which is the beautiful thing is why, just to kind of talk on this subject for a brief second, the beautiful thing on this as well, which is why like Hex is actually decorrelated from say Bitcoin and say Ethereum because its main correlation is with USDC. So if we actually look right here at the correlation matrix right now, you can see Hex right now is definitely not correlated with Bitcoin. It's sitting at, negative 0.05, and then you have Bitcoin and Ethereum sitting at a 77% correlation. So they're very correlated. This is within the last 24 hours. We could even pull it up in the last 30 days, for example. And you can see that Hex and Bitcoin are 90% correlated right there. So when one goes up, the other's going up. When one goes down, they go down. But yeah, Hex is definitely moving apart from it. And this is within the last 30 days. Guys, it's been an absolute wild time, because as these progress and as we get shorter and shorter time frames, the correlation gets further and further away, because Hex is absolutely moving on its own right now. Even with Ethereum, it's very decorrelated with that as well. So love seeing this information. But again, once Hex is going to be bond with Pulse, it's going to be moving together as well. So very interesting to see. Fun little fact to share. Yep, the staking calculator. Hopefully that answered. 10 hex for $1 is still cheap. And you get a copy, and staked hex gets you 4 tokens after Pulse launches. E-hex, P-hex, E-hedron, P-hedron. I don't even think, dude, it's like, it's so hard for us to wrap our head around this sometimes, right? Like, I don't know if y'all feel the same way, but it's hard to wrap your head around the fact that everything's getting copied. And then once everything gets copied, it's hard to wrap the head around the fact that, like, that also includes all of your stakes. Not only that, that also includes all of the hedron that you're able to get as well from those stakes. And if you're staked when in hedron and earning ICOSA, you get all that copied too. Like, guys, we're so freaking blessed to even know about this opportunity before the majority of folks, even in crypto. They won't even give it the time of day, because it's owned and created by our man, the genius, the founder, Richard Hart. And people have their mixed feelings about them, but God forbid you try to say something that tries to help people in other crypto communities. They hear Richard Hart and they're like, and they just instantly ban you. It's the dumbest shit you could ever freaking experience, but there's nothing you can do. They will just have to pay whenever PulseChain reaches $1, and they're just going to be buying our bags at that point in time. PulseX will melt faces, 100. Absolutely. PulseX is going to absolutely destroy. Yep, that's the one. Appreciate that. Bright Light Crypto, hello, my friend. What's good, hexicans? Good to see. Good TA in the space. I appreciate that, Clifton. Much love, much support, much love as well to you, Clifton. But yeah, guys, again, so far we have Facing Reality as the first super chat in the channel. Again, I have my super chats finally turned on. Yay. I'm excited about that. I can't wait to keep this going as well, and looking forward to all of y'all who end up supporting the stream that way. I got Patreon if you're actually wanting to get one-on-ones, if you're wanting to gather some insightful information about maybe some game planning and game theories as to what you may do whenever PulseChain launches. Check out my patreon.com/ATXCrypto. There's a tier for a one-on-one consultation for peeps if you want to get that done. And if you just want access to some spreadsheets that end up showing how to take profits, when to take profits, and actually break it down via some good numbers, you get access to these little profit taking calculators here, the profit planners, along with where you can see the ICO prices, where you can see the PulseChain price when it launches, and what we're actually going to be seeing, how to become a millionaire in the ecosystem, whether it be X's or whether it be the actual multiple. You get a whole bunch of information. I haven't checked this one out in a while. This one's currently showing the Hex price or PulseChain launch price could be in the ballpark of about 0.0015 based on the current Ethereum supply, and also based on the Uniswap analytics, it's sitting at 0.0021. So that would be a 21x from launch price, from sacrifice price. That would be a 15x from sacrifice price, based on two different metrics right here. So we have Uniswap versus the Ethereum pool. So yeah, tons of stuff happening all the time. Got another super chat. Clifton Lewis, my man, what up? Appreciate the super chat as well, guys. I'm gonna get all this stuff fixed up as well. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna see it, dude. Much love, guys. So much love right there. Thank you again to everyone who does support the channel, who is supporting me coming through. I'm gonna be switching up the graphics, so guys. I wanted to see what it all looked like, so we'll switch up how long it's on screen for. It's all fun, guys. It's all a blast. We're all figuring this out together. We're all on this journey together, and I'm so excited to be on this journey with you as well. So let's talk about some interesting stuff that actually just went down. So one, I want to just remind everyone, be careful about everything happening in the very near future. There's going to be a lot of scams that are going to be showing themselves. I've been seeing it happen more so in Twitter lately than I have in a very long time. So it used to be on YouTube, you'll see the hit me up on WhatsApp, you know, oh, he's done so good and taught me how to make so much money. I earned $12,000, like all that bullshit. Like, don't fall for that kind of stuff. That one's pretty easy. But you're seeing new ones come out where it's like, hey, we got the Hex airdrop happening. I got $20,000 that I'm giving away. Join this. Guys, be careful. Be careful. Like, it is not worth your bag to try to go pick up pennies in front of a freight train. I don't care if it's real or not. I don't even want to be involved in that. So if you see it, it's best just to block the person right away. It's best to report them, let them know, so that way other people in the community also don't fall victim to it, right? So I've seen it happen where we're getting plenty of people who will screenshot and say, one, they don't follow anyone I follow. Two, they don't have barely any followers in and of themselves. Three, this account only talks and just got created like a week ago. Whatever the case may be, they break it down and say, here's what's wrong with this account, report them. And then dude, our community is like thriving on Twitter. We're thriving. We're freaking animals over there, guys. I absolutely love it. So it's just a blast seeing. But guys, we are going to be having a new system launch. If you are not familiar with it, I highly would always recommend everyone create a dummy wallet. You've seen me use it for all of my channels as well. For every single thing that I end up looking at and for all the things that I connect to, I use a dummy wallet. It doesn't have any crypto. I could show my seed words and not give an F. I could do all of this information because I will never put money in this account. It is strictly for a purpose of testing systems. It's strictly a purpose of seeing it because I will not see my bag get destroyed because I want to try to go check out something that actually has me do it. Half the time, we're so short-sighted that we don't even read these, like the end user license agreement or the EULA, you know what I mean? We don't read these things and we just say, I agree, I understand, check the box, and then move on. And it's like, bam, you just gave away all of your crypto, all of your hard work, everything that you've invested in. Can it be made up again? Yes, guys, I've said this time and time again. Money can be made up. It's not something that gets lost. You can always make more money. However, will it devastate you? Will it be an emotional and mental strain on you? Facts, dude. And I don't want to see anyone go through that. So please be careful. Yes, Gloria, this is what I'm talking about. I saw a scam targeting me on Twitter about Hex airdrop. That was exactly the one that I was referring to, Gloria. It is so prevalent that everyone needs to understand that they are going to be coming out of the woodworks, folks. I'm talking about people from left, people from right, people saying they have a brand new project launching on PulseChain, people saying all this stuff. Be careful. Don't be the first. Let's say that, okay? Let me just say that. Don't be the first, right? It's not bad to be the last, guys. If you are not familiar with it, if you do not trust it, if you feel just in your stomach that something doesn't sit right with it, one, you can always ask the Hex community because we come strong whenever we take our analysis and we take a look at all this stuff. You can ask people that you do trust in the community. Are you messing with this? Is this something you're interacting with? We have the Pulse Police that are doing their thing on Telegram. I think they do a phenomenal job just pointing out maybe some flaws with some codes that could be there for new projects that are launching, but or airdrops that are happening even. But folks, don't be the first, right? There is no rush to be the first. Like you should, I don't know if I can stress that enough. Crypto Khalil, appreciate that as well. Thank you for the follow there. What's up, Academaciated? Hello, my friend. Use Pulse Police at least before you do anything. That's what exactly, Clifton right there. Pulse Police has been a savior for so many people. And again, if you don't know where to find them, I'll just briefly kind of show you. Again, I believe you can just type in Pulse Police on Telegram, but I'm not even fully certain on that, so don't quote me. But I'll show you what the actual Telegram looks like. So if you are trying to connect to it for any reason, you'll know what it at least looks like in theory. Not in theory, in actuality. So if you actually come over here, you'll get a nice little chat right here. This is the Pulse Police icon. And again, can I zoom on this page? I've never tried to zoom. No, I can't zoom. Okay, cool. I didn't know if I could or not. But this is what it has the little sirens. It's got the two lights. Says Pulse Police right here. They go through and actually go and check a whole bunch of information. Primarily focusing, of course, on what it is beneficial. If you have a token that's not even a part of the PulseChain ecosystem, don't even bother with it, right? Because their idea is that they're just trying to help out everyone within the PulseChain ecosystem. So if you have a token, for whatever reason, you can check it out. Texan token definitely got reviewed. Hedron got reviewed. Communist got reviewed. All these tokens that are just out there and available, they all get reviewed. But again, it's a group of volunteers. You have to understand, they also are not fully licensed to be giving you the financial advice saying that it's a clear play. They're just going to give you the information saying there's admin keys, there's, you know, it looks like they can control the liquidity, they can increase liquidity, they can do a whole bunch of stuff, and they'll break it down as to what it is. But again, they have a ton of pinned messages, so if you're ever just wanting to see it, you can definitely see it all right here. Go through all the pinned messages. You can see the latest one was the communist token, where they basically said that there were admin keys and special privileges that are saying this is what the breakdown is. This is like if you want to know what the definitions are. This is the one for the actual communists, for example, saying that, again, no red flags right here for communists. So if you're actually wanting to mint your tokens, it's not something that I do personally. Not a fan of the name, so I just don't mint anything with it. But again, if you are a hex staker, you want to get some free coins, that's a possibility. I just don't personally mess with it. Phenomenal website, phenomenal group. Guys, they can only give you the information, though. You still have to make the decision at the end of the day to do something with that information. Now, if you decide to connect to a website or whatever, that falls on you. Okay? It falls on you. It doesn't fall on them. Take responsibility. Be a big boy and big girl. You know what I mean? Own up to what you own up to your actions, basically, at this point in time. So there's going to be a ton of scams, guys. Keep your eyes on the on basically just keep your head on a swivel. Let's say that, okay? Keep your head on a swivel for sure. Make sure you don't fall victim to the easiest of prey when it comes to these new airdrops that are going to be happening, to the new coins that are going to be launching and everything like that. So let's just see right here. Yeah, DeFi for the win. Absolutely. Crypto compassion. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go back and actually take a little gander, guys, because we got some freaking banging news from Richard Hart within the last 24 hours. It all started with these tweets right here. He starts saying, "Who's excited about PulseX.com?" He comes back, the very next one, "Who's excited about PulseChain.com?" And look how many people have viewed this message already. 180,000 people have already seen this tweet. Guys, he's got 300,000 followers on Twitter. he almost hit that within the span of 24 hours. This literally got sent out yesterday at 4 p.m. my time. It's only 2:20 p.m. my time right here. So in less than 24 hours, he's already seen 180,000 people. That is some massive engagement. Did outrage marketing work? Yep, based on this engagement alone, for sure. Not only that, he came back and said this right here. When PulseChain.com testnet V3 launches, think of this as your final warning that Mainnet could launch anytime. I really would love to see everyone enjoying free coins as soon as possible. Fingers crossed. Guys, I've said this so many times, but here's the benefit. Now that we've got Aragon Sync completed, we've got the block index completed, we are all synchronized up until March, okay? Now, what does that mean? That means that when he decides to do something, he can do it within the span of 24 to 96 hours. So if he launches V3, everything's working flawlessly. We see the AMM bot running and doing exactly what it does, and it did the right ratios, and it sent everything the right way, which, by the way, guys, I'm freaking stoked about as well. We're going to get into that in a second. But he's going to see everything working, and then within the span of whenever he decides, if it's working flawlessly for 2 weeks, he could simply decide at that point in time, I just need to re-index the blockchain one more time. I need to re-get the Aragon sync one more time so it's all updated, so that way when snapshot happens, it's current as of the fork. So snapshot will not happen until the fork of PulseChain, okay? Or the fork of Ethereum. When that happens, that's when you get the snapshot. It's all in the same go. It's not two different simple transactions. It's not two different times. It won't be what's snapshotted from V3. So when V3 launches, if you don't have your hex bag ready, get your hex bag ready, folks. Get your hex bag ready. That's all I'm trying to say. Because he can launch it within the span of 24 to 96 hours. We know this because we know how long it takes now to sync up the Aragon sync. And we know it's going to take, on average, 24 to 48 hours in that regard, based on everything being completed up until March, or synced up until March. So kudos to that. The last one here, PulseChain.com testnet, PulseX.com testnet v3 is coming along great. AMM bot has finished running. Block explorers, indexers are feeding off the Aragon archive nodes. Lighthouse, Prism, and Geth are working fine too. And this Geth is going to be GoPulse, by the way. It's going to be switching because, of course, we won't have Ethereum. We're going to have PulseChain. Geth are working fine too. Now we're viewing the new validator onboarding process. Damn. So this is where I stand corrected, boys and girls. This is where everything that I mentioned before about it possibly waiting until the end of March, if not April, was slow. I was wrong. And I was happy to be wrong about this. He says AMM bot has finished running. Great. Guys, what does that mean for us? That means so much information, so much bullish news. That means that whenever we actually get V3 here and we actually get a chance to see V3 live, we're also going to know exactly how it's going to be working on these liquidity pairs as well. So we can then come into the testnet and we can actually see all of this happening right here. So let me just kind of give y'all a quick example of what that actually means. So again, if you haven't done this already, you can go to this website. We're going to be going over this in way more detail when V3 does get here. But this is pulsex.com. This is app.v2b.testnet. Right, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So I'll copy and paste if anyone wants to go through and check it out as well. Feel free to check out that link. More than happy to use anyone who wants to go through and check that out. But look at this, guys. You can go through, you can connect your wallet. If you have not done this before, I highly advise you do it. It's very simple. First, create a dummy MetaMask wallet. It doesn't matter what you do with the seed words because it's a dummy wallet. You aren't trying to use it for anything in particular. If you want to save it for future use, for that way when it's ready, whenever PulseChain comes out, whatever, you can. But again, dummy wallet. Dummy wallets are always very important. So I create my dummy wallet account. I then connect my MetaMask. It's going to ask if I want to switch the network. If you haven't connected to PulseChain previously, it's going to ask if you want to add PulseChain as the network. You just say you can add it. And guys, we can actually start pulling up some liquidity and all that stuff right here. But what's so amazing about this is we're going to be able to look at the exchange. We're going to be able to look at limit orders. We're going to be able to see a whole bunch of stuff real fast. And it's going to be very interesting because we get to see how everything is essentially ratioed right from the jump. So you can then start making some game plans. Now be careful. If you make game plans based on this V3 testnet, be very careful. There is going to be a lot of people who are going to be making a ton of moves. So anything that you have in your head about ratios and all that stuff, if you don't already have that figured out by the time it comes for testnet to be here, or for the time that when it comes to PulseChain to be here, be cautious. I cannot stress this enough. There's no need to be first, okay? Hey guys, if you've missed it, then so be it. You haven't missed it though. You still got in on day 0 of PulseChain. You still got in on day 2 when the bridge comes in. You still got in so freaking early. So please be careful when it comes to PulseChain being launched. I cannot stress that enough, but I really do want to look forward to being able to see the liquidity pairs for all this stuff, to be able to see everything all sorted on this as well. It's going to be an absolute freaking blast, my friends and fam. I promise you. And we're going to be going over this and more on all the details when V3 does get here. So I cannot wait. What's up, Chris Crypto? How are you, my friend? Stefan, let's go. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Looking fresh, man. I appreciate that as well. Much love, Stefan. Hey, guys. By the way, we actually have Westcott Crypto coming on Thursday. So in 2 days, he's going to be coming onto the channel. Make sure I'll put a little promotion on that as well. Let's make sure to give him all the love and support. I cannot wait. He's looking to maybe even start picking up the stream life as well. And so we're just going to be bringing on another person talking about our ecosystem. So let's give him all the love. He actually has made some freaking amazing videos as well on Twitter and on his YouTube channel as well. He likes to host them on Twitter first, but he's actually already ended up hitting, I believe it was like 100,000 views on Twitter based on that profile, or based on the song that he just most recently did. So congrats to Westcott, dude. That was a freaking epic thing. He had a couple of them that he did, and I'll showcase it here. But he hit him with this first song, of course, the PulseChain Girl, right? Gotta love that little song right there. He has another one where he just, like I said, hit 100,000 views based on this little new song that he came out with, the Blockchain Boys. And guys, yeah, definitely give him a follow if you aren't already following him on Twitter. Much love and much appreciation to Westcott. All right, but guys, damn. Okay, cool. So let's go here. Be careful about scams and spam. Be careful. Okay. Lastly, guys, will there be a site like CMC for PulseChain coins? Yeah, I don't know on that one, Gabriel. I mean, everything's gonna be on a decentralized system for the most part. So like, they'll still be ranked whenever it comes out. It's just a matter of like, will CoinMarketCap end up ranking PulseChain in the right spot? Are they gonna say that it's incorrect for whatever reason? I'm sure you'll be able to find it on Nomics. There's other websites that are already ready to host PulseChain as well. So there is going to be essentially like areas that you can actually go to and check it out. It's just interesting that, yeah, again, we're going to have quite a bit. Zcash, what's up? Yeah, we're going to have quite a bit of fun and love happening when that happens. I know, Fiat and Famous are doing their own things. Again, I don't know if that necessarily ends up pertaining to where it's going to be and where it's going to fall on terms of like ranking and everything like that. You coming to get them? Go get your mama.
You want to go potty in the rain? You can do it.
Love you. All right. Yeah, sorry. She had to bring out the pup real fast. So she came and grabbed the puppy out of the office. But yeah, dude, like, oh my gosh, guys. This is so freaking bullish. Like for Hex, for PulseChain, for our ecosystem, for our community. We got so many things happening every single day. And it seems like at this point in time, we're pretty damn close. In fact, if we take a look at the GitLab, which is something I typically do way earlier in the stream, but let's just take a little gander over here for a second. We can see that all of the devs have been active once again. You got Gamma DevOps, Lucas Carlson, Brett Paulson, 3 Commas Capital, SJB 933. You got Richard Hart, last active as of March 18th. What I do focus on here is, guys, typically when he's active on GitLab, we get some sort of announcement within the next 24 hours. That's how it's typically been. That's what's been happening. So I do now tend to look for Richard Hart to go active, and when he is active, I anticipate some sort of announcement within the next 24 hours. So that's kind of my guess and gander, is that when we see him go active on here, we're most likely, hopefully, getting that V3 launch, but we'll see. Again, my hopium got super high last time. But I'm back to the hopium fix, guys, because like this is all bullish. This is all bullish freaking news right now. That's for PulseChain. Let's look at the PulseX, guys. We got the Heinz wallet, or the wallet guy, still doing his thing as well. March 20th, Lucas Carlson. March 20th, 3 Commas, Brett Paulson, Agris, March 20th, and then again Richard Hart, March 18th. So I am waiting for him to go active on there. And guys, when I see it, bam, I'm just expecting V3. Okay, yeah, there you go. Is that the Pulse Hot List? Is the one where you can actually check it out? So yeah, Pulse Hot List, I will say, actually has a bunch of stuff. I've checked it out previously. I haven't looked at it in a while. It's funny, I just recently sent this website over to a buddy of mine who was looking, but I didn't even look then. So this was the website right here. Pulse Hot List is the one he's referring to. PulseHotList.com, exactly like you see up here in the name, .com at the end. So it's a ranking website that it just kind of shows you different coins, where the score is at, where it falls. It shows you how they end up calculating the score as well, based on reputation, utility, audits, prototypes, transparency, age, and all this stuff, further hidden factors. It shows a whole bunch of information as to where they end up getting their score from. So again, 97 based on PulseChain not launching it, I'm assuming. But it shows all of these other coins who have kind of done something already. What's working already, what's not working, what it's going to be for. Is it a token? Is it DeFi? Is it market? All that good stuff. So yeah, Pulse Hot List is definitely going to have a ton of different information on here. Now again, I don't know if they're going to actually have I don't know if they're going to actually have it to where it's like showing the actual, sorry, I'm checking out the whole website. This is me just kind of looking through. I don't know if they're actually going to have the entire area where it's actually been for like market cap and all that good stuff. I don't know if they're trying to go through and do all that, because handling the entire market cap for every single token that comes on is a massive endeavor. So, you know, I imagine we're going to see it in places like Nomics, for example, as much as, you know, but you can see like Nomics has already got Hex listed at the 7th spot right here. Soon to be passing, guys. A double basically puts us above XRP. So we're right there, and I could easily see a double happening. I've said this time and time again, that when we actually do see V3 come out, I could see us go and do a nice little 2x pump. And then when PulseChain comes out right before we get some announcements, some hype, all that good stuff, I could easily see us going and doing a 2 to 5x from there. So if we're already sitting, for example, if we're already sitting right now at, say, 10 cents, 9 cents Hex, when V3 comes out, I could see us going and pumping to a nice little 20-cent Hex, which would put us all the way up here, boys and girls. And that is a pretty freaking sight to see, because we got green skies, clear skies ahead. There ain't nothing that's really stopping us, especially looking at the liquidity. Guys, when you actually end up passing a certain point in time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was right here. Yep. So right here, right at the 12-cent mark, we start losing all the liquidity. So like, look how much we got green skies ahead, all the way up to essentially what could be 18 cents. And then we have a little bit of a sell wall happening, but even then, it's not that much. We got 130, 130, 130. So overall, what, 360, 390 Hex within, you know, sale. Not even a million Hex for sale in this range right here. So we got some clear skies ahead. We just got to keep pushing as we've been doing. Liquidity has moved. They've kind of started to fill in some of it around the 10-cent range. But again, I don't really see us having too much struggle here from the 10-cent range. So absolutely expect quite a bit of stuff. Expect some harsh copium on CT. Facts. ETH bros aren't going to want to believe it. We're going to make them believe it. We have facts on facts. Facts on facts on facts on facts. Dude, like, you gotta, like, oh my gosh. We're gonna, and speaking of the Ethereum bros, by the way, so this is kind of what I'm talking about as well. So you got a lot of these Ethereum Genesis wallets. You know, we had the one who came in with 1,000 ETH Genesis tokens that they ended up injecting around this time frame, if I'm not mistaken, the early February mark, where it was just a massive buy. They did a market buy at that point in time. I can see the ETH Genesis folks, or even people holding more than like 50 Ethereum inside their wallet, to not want to get diluted instantly. Because if you imagine that when PulseChain launches, they are only going to get 1 for 1, which means that you will only get 1 Ethereum for 1 Pulse. So, or should I say, you'll only get 1 Pulse for 1 Ethereum. Let me say that the other way. So literally, you will only, so I can imagine that people do not want to get diluted. Like, why would you want to get diluted like that? It would stink, right? So I could see some people moving into a different ERC20 token, even say Shiba or Link or Hex or Hedron or Maxi or any of the other ERC20 tokens other than Ethereum. The Ethereum's the only one that's being diluted, because when the AMM fixture bot runs, it's going to essentially multiply one side by 1,000 and divide the other side by 1,000 there, or multiply one side by 1,000, multiply the other side by 1,000, thereby giving it a 1 million X potential of difference. So that's where the true ability of the AMM bot comes in, is to do that little move right there. And why would you want to get diluted 1 million X? Like, it would stink. So if you had 9,000 Ethereum right now that you're holding, not dollars, but Ethereum that you're holding, why wouldn't you just move at least a small portion of it into an ERC20 of your choice, of your liking? If you've got that much Ethereum, you've probably got some tokens that you enjoy, because it's getting forked over to PulseChain. Now, hopefully they choose a token that actually has the ability to provide liquidity and all that good stuff, which is primarily going to be the Hex. But I would hate to see them only use Hex as a tool. I would much rather they use Hex to actually learn the benefits of Hex by burning it, staking it, earning the additional T-shares, earning the trustless yield, and then minting it to existence later, like we saw the Ethereum Genesis wallet do. The Godwell, the second Godwell, if you will, is what they were calling them, because they went and staked it for 90 days. So that one's actually ending Cinco de Mayo, and I believe I did the math on it. And for that Ethereum, I think it was like 2 point something million, something in that ballpark, and they were going to end up accruing. It was like $200,000 within that amount of time at where the current hex price was, which was, I believe, 6 cents or something back then. So it's going to be wild as heck, and they're just going to be like, holy cow, I didn't really have to do anything besides stake it, and whenever I or burn it, and then whenever I minted it to existence, all of a sudden, bam, I just made myself an extra like $200,000 in the span of 90 days. Like, I might want to go a little bit longer. I might want to do something different. So I anticipate that to be a thing. He got to see the real benefit of it, or that particular entity got to see the real benefit of it. So kudos to them for even having the wherewithal to even stake. But I would hate to see other people use Hex as a tool, because then that just means that when the fork happens, they're going to most likely sell their Hex to convert it back to Ethereum. And, that could be their choice. And that's completely fine. A lot of folks are going to be making that play. So it's very curious to see what's going to be happening. There's so much stuff that's going to be coming in the next freaking few days, weeks, months, that I can only caution everyone to, again, be ready to make sure that you are very cautious as to what you're interacting with. You do not want to jeopardize your sacrifice wallet, especially right before the sacrifice or the launch of PulseChain actually happens. Because how devastating would that be if you connected it to another entity, and then you have to make some sort of play right whenever it launches to try to beat the hacker in the first place. And anyways, this is not something you want to mess with, right? So I would highly advise that you just be very cautious and careful as to what you interact with. Another thing that another word of caution I would always bring as well is providing liquidity. We talk about this as a way of earning some additional fees, and while it's good to go ahead and make sure that the fees are all here as well. So let me just kind of give this. This is another website, uniswap.fish, but it just kind of gives me the example. I don't want the 1% pair. Let me change pool. Ethereum. We're gonna go Hex. We're gonna go USDC. And I'm just going to say the 0.3% pair, because that's where most of the liquidity is. You can see we got some liquidity essentially all the way out. If you need to, you can always toggle it, because right now it's in USDC. You can click toggle, and it'll actually give you a better range of where everything could fall at that point in time. So this is liquidity providing kind of like a quick little rundown of how it all works, should you end up needing to get that range. But when you're on Uniswap V2, you're on full range at that point in time. You're just on the full spectrum. You handle any sort of trades that happen. You can see the APR on that one is only roughly about 15%. So it's not too much in terms of what you're actually going to be making, whereas you can actually narrow that down when it comes to Uniswap V3, which, by the way, the license for Uniswap V3 becomes available April 1st. So bullish news on that too, because it means that we could be bringing that over onto PulseX as well, so thereby earning some additional yield, some additional fees from everything else that we're going to be having, guys. We're going to have such an opportunity for passive income to be a thing that I'm super, super excited about being able to share all this information, because right now you can mess with like farms right now and actually earn some nice little 20, 30, 40% APRs. We're going to be having these numbers where you're going to be seeing these numbers at like 300% APRs and that kind of stuff. So absolute banger of a time. Back to liquidity though, I would advise being cautious when we see V3 launch, because what I mentioned before is Richard Hart can basically decide within the span of 24 to 96 hours to launch PulseChain. Okay, so what does that actually mean? It means that at that point in time, if you're not careful and you have liquidity right there, the AMM bot's actually going to pull the liquidity, so you aren't going to be able to reap the rewards when the time comes for the launch of PulseChain, because it's going to set its own ratios and its own liquidity when it first launches. So one, you may get caught with more USDC than Hex, and that's not what you're wanting. You're wanting Hex, because Hex is more likely to have value when the launch of PulseChain happens, whereas USDC is an admin coin crypto, and they can essentially say that it's a valueless token on PulseChain. So we are going to have to create our own sort of USDC stablecoin type deals, such as liquid loans or other protocols that are out there. So Be careful about providing liquidity when V3 launches. This is just a word of caution. Again, not financial advice. You got to make sure if you want to do this and earn the fees and get it that way, then you do you. But understand that if you have liquidity, you could make some good money, especially if we sit here in this range all the way up to, what is this? 10.6 cents. I could even go a little bit higher and say 11 cents. But if you're here in this range, you have a potential of making 289% APR, APR. And then again, as the price fluctuates, you can see where that price ends up moving, where you can start making quite a bit per day, right? $24 per day. And of course, as we start going further and further into it, just know that your hex is being converted into USDC. So you want to be very careful when it comes to this. If you don't fully understand liquidity providing, I'm more than happy to go over that with anyone who has any questions as well. Definitely feel free to hit me up or hit me up in the Patreon link down below, guys. But do y'all have any questions for me? It's been a freaking wild ride at this point in time. We got a lot of information within the last 24 hours. We've seen what it's done to the hex price within the last 24 hours. So at this point in time, we've already seen it rally up. And look at this chart. I looked at this the other day, and god dang, does this freaking look beautiful, man. This is on the weekly, and look how freaking beautiful this thing looks, man. We are just on an absolute tear from the all-time low of 1.7 cents roughly all the way up to where we are sitting. That was a 492% increase. I was able to capitalize on that 492% increase, and I hope you were as well. That's a 6x on your money, essentially 5.92x on your money. So imagine that if you end up doing just $1,000 and and you got to buy it here at the 1.7 cent level, and you were able to capitalize on that because of limit orders. And we were going over limit orders long before. We had limit orders anywhere between 2 all the way down to 1.0 or less if it actually hit that. But it seems like at this point in time, that is the bottom, because we are now in the last 84 days, I've made 492% on my money so far, and I hope all of y'all are able to make the same thing as well, because this is an absolute phenomenal time to be looking at what we're doing in the market right now, and there's just greener pastures ahead. So if you missed this opportunity and you weren't able to capitalize on that, well guys, do not worry yourselves, because at this point in time, going from here, let me zoom out just a smidge more. We're going to go here and just kind of show you what could happen. We're going from 10 cents with another 492% increase as to where it is right now. And this is you making your money at that point in time. That puts us back in the 50 cent level. And I could definitely see 50 to 60 cents well within this year. Again, not financial advice. If you decide to make this purchase yourself, that's on you. But keep in mind, this is very likely and very possible, folks. Very possible. And this looks freaking beautiful. Again, if you were looking at a chart and you saw this chart happening right here, oh my gosh, that is just gorgeous. Gorgeous, my friend, gorgeous. Let me see what we got going on with the trend. Man, we got a beautiful trend happening right now. So that's just being very, I would even say that's that's tough to even draw a trend line, because like we're just pumping way past the trend right now at this point in time. That would be a good trend line right here. We're pumping way past that. So let's just be, fun and cautious on this one and say, what are we looking at next, right? Assuming we continue down this trend line like we've been hitting through this whole time, well, we essentially would end up coming down, hitting this spot right here, possibly retesting the 10 cent threshold. Like we know we're going to run into some resistance. We start passing that 10 cent threshold. We start passing 12, 14 cents. We could even come back down again and come back here where we end up at 11 cents. Pump up again, and guys, this pump is definitely being feasible and possible, and it's looking awfully freaking gorgeous right now at this point in time. Big fan of what we got going. Hex is definitely pumping. I'm freaking super excited. I hope all of y'all are also as excited. Crypto Jake coming through saying smash the like and subscribe. Definitely do that. It means if you are appreciating the content that we're putting out, that you are appreciating it. If you are liking and subscribing, guys, that's exactly what we're looking for. Hex price is pumping. USDC will be worthless on PulseChain. Only new bridged in eUSDC will have any value. Facts on facts. Be very, very careful about where you're holding your money. If you got a big bag of USDC right now, just know that when it copies over for PulseChain, that is going to be worth nothing. And you got to be very wise as to what you're doing, because you can hold a big bag of Ethereum USDC all day. But if you had the chance to double your money and you could make it to where you got double your hex, for just an example, so you converted most of that into hex, and then by the time PulseChain launches, assuming you wanted to convert it back, you can actually provide liquidity at that point in time by looking like this. And then as the price of hex either pumps or goes up or down, and as the price continues to go up, well, what happens eventually is you move fully out of hex and back into USDC. So that's just very easy to see, very easy to do. I highly advise anyone who, I can't advise because I'm not a financial advisor, I would put my money into a ERC20 token that is most likely to have value when PulseChain launches. So, oh yeah, you asked why would it be useless, Mike Page? So great question. The reason why is because USDC is controlled by Circle, or they have admin keys. So they can basically, when PulseChain launches, they choose whether or not it has value. Just like when Ethereum Fair forked and Ethereum POW forked, the USDC value over there is nothing, because they can turn off those tokens. They can literally, they have admin keys. They can say they aren't worth anything. The contract is useless over there. And if they decide to do that when PulseChain launches, which is very likely the case, because when it comes to, say, Circle, for example, they have to be backed 1-for-1 on their dollar. So if you can't just double the amount on PulseChain launching and not have it backed 1-for-1 on Circle, by Circle, on the fiat world. So they are going to zero out the contract, basically saying that it is useless, it is worthless. And a lot of folks are going to be trying to make plays when it first launches. They're going to be thinking they can get a whole bag of USDC. Be careful. People tried this when it came to the ETH POW and ETH Fair, and it never came around, and they converted a whole bunch of money into USDC, trying to get millions of dollars and play a system that was never going to be a thing that they could never do. So I can only caution everyone to just take it easy when PulseChain launches. Go slow. You don't have to be first, guys. We're blessed the fact that you even know about it. Let's just talk about that. We're blessed the fact that we even know anything about PulseChain, about PulseX, about Hex. Like, we're so freaking early in this ecosystem of ours. However, it is also just as easy to get wrecked. It is super simple. You literally just have to connect to a new wallet that gives access, or a new dApp that gives access to control all your funds, and you're wrecked instantly. It just sucks. So like when it comes to decentralized finance or DeFi, be wise, man. Like, think of it like your bank account. Like, you're not connecting your bank account to everything just because they want you to connect it. So think about it like that, because this is your personal bank account. You control the crypto, you control the funds, you control the keys, you have access to it. However, if you connect to a decentralized app or a dApp, that says, hey, you can spend all my USDC, well, you just granted them full access, because again, it's that end user license agreement that we so rarely read. When you want to click on something, you're just like, I want to get it, I want to click it, I want to get it. I agree. Whatever it is, I agree. Check the box, I agree. And then all of a sudden you just end up wrecked. So so be careful. Guy, you can actually see this right here. I highly advise, if you haven't done this before, go to a website called revoke.cash. You can also do this through Ethereum. You don't have to use this website. If you do not trust this website, that is perfectly fine. You can actually use etherscan.io to do this as well. But I highly advise that you type in your address right here, and you copy in your address, and you say, what have I connected to? Because again, at this point in time, I can't show it because this wallet doesn't have any funds. It doesn't have any ability to spend any money. There's never been money inserted in here, so I can't show you exactly what it would look like. But the idea is that you can basically say, I used to give this contract permission to spend Hedron. I used to give this contract permission to spend USDC. Say you did a limit order or you did a swap on Uniswap. You're giving the permission to access your funds. Well, I would recommend going to a website like revoke.cash and seeing how many things you've connected to. You can then revoke the permission, so that way you take it out and you remove that permission from ever being a thing. Because if that website ever gets compromised, you still have your wallet connected. They still have your access, saying that they can spend as much as they want, and you're again SOL without even realizing that it was something that happened. So be very careful when it comes to this stuff, folks. But if you need to do it, you can also go to Etherscan. I'll show you 2 different ways. I've shown you this before, but I'll give you a brief example again. You go to etherscan.io, you come over here to more. Let me zoom in just so you can kind of see things a little bit easier. You go to etherscan.io, you come over here to more. You then come down to token approvals, and you can actually see any token approvals that you've had. You would say connect. I would say yes, it is MetaMask or Wallet Connect or whatever you need to do to show it. I need to switch back to Ethereum. But again, I don't have any access. I don't have any, I've never used this token for anything, right? Because this is a dummy wallet. I've never authorized it to spend USDC. I've never bought anything with this, so it won't have any permissions for me to revoke. But pay attention to 2 things when you're doing this. Pay attention to the gas fees, because this is very important, because you are going to have to spend some Ethereum to revoke the permissions from those websites. So make sure that the gas fees are very good. The fact that it's still at 17 Gwei is mind-boggling, dude. Like, I am a big fan of it being this low. I am glad whenever you see it below 20. I used to say that 8 to 12 Gwei was a good transaction period to do stuff in. I haven't seen it get that low lately, but I have seen it hit as low as 13, 14 Gwei. So be careful about when you're doing it. Pay attention to what the Gwei is, because you are going to have to pay a gas fee to revoke any websites that you're currently connected to. So I hope that makes sense. Should I revoke Hex? Andrew Kennedy, if you've got all your stakes set up and you've got that wallet to where it's never going to do anything for now, you can always revoke. You can always authorize it again later. Like, you have to understand, if you decide you want to authorize it again later, then cool, right? Have fun doing it. You can always authorize again. If you don't trust that, the website's going to do good for the next 15 years while you got your stakes set up, then maybe you revoke it for now until you need to access it again, right? It's just one of those decisions that you have to make yourself. But I'm a big fan of revoking websites like Uniswap, anything that has limit orders, anything that you've done a decentralized swap on, like Matcha.xyz, CowSwap, 1inch.io, any of those websites. If you've ever connected to them and you've done a transaction through them, you've authorized it to spend the tokens, and it's typically an unlimited amount for the most part. So when you're actually on the Etherscan website, it'll tell you, and again, I don't have this because again, I don't have any approvals to show, but it would tell you like the allowance, and it'll say unlimited. Anything that says unlimited, dangerous, right? Dangerous. Yeah, so I would be careful. God is good. We are blessed to know what we hold or hodl. Hex ecosystem. Facts on facts, Crypto Jake. Love that. Truth. Yeah, exactly. 10 Top hitting it with some facts. Should I revoke Hex? Yeah, that was funny. It does the same thing even when buying Hex. Permission to spend unlimited. Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. You're giving it permission every single time, because it doesn't have the authority to just say like spend X amount. Now the cool thing is, for example, say Hedron, if you haven't seen this website, like if you go to icosa.pro, you can actually see on here, again, I don't have any stakes or anything because, again, guys, dummy wallet, right? But I can go to launch the application. I would then say, I can connect to the website. One, you always want to see it's connecting right here. It's saying the website that it's checking with. Oh, you can't see the full thing. It's saying the website that it's checking with right here. You always want to make sure that's good. You would say select the account. I would then choose whatever account it is. Only connect with sites that you trust. Guys, like, it is so freaking important to make sure you're just like paying attention to all of this. You click next. You then see right here. Right now, this website is basically being authorized to see the address, see the account balance, see the activity, and suggest transactions to approve. But I do not see any additional items saying it gives authorization to spend. Right? You never want to, if you click on a website and it says authorization to spend and it's your first time checking it out, like, I would run. I would not check. I would not connect to the website. I would be very careful. But guys, read this stuff. Like, make sure you're good. I would then say it's here. But again, I don't have any Icosa, so maybe this isn't the best example. But if you're on this website, the reason why I bring it up is because if you're on this website in particular, What's really cool about it is it actually says, do you want to authorize a limited amount of whatever it is that you're trying to stake? We'll say you have 100 million or 500 million Hedron, for example, and say, do you want to only authorize it to spend 500 million Hedron for this transaction? Or do you want it to be an unlimited amount? So if you know you're going to do multiple stakes in the future, if you know you're going to be doing multiple rotations, maybe you leave it on unlimited, because every single time you authorize it there, you have to basically pay a small little gas fee to basically sign the knots to make sure it's all good there. But I hope that makes a little bit more sense as to like why you would want to be careful with websites that you're connecting to. Highly advise that we, again, not financial advice. You got to do your own research. Make sure that all the things that I'm saying, ring true from many other people. Don't just believe me because I'm saying what I'm saying, but this will tell you like how many dollars are at risk. Again, I don't have any money in this account, dummy wallet, but it'll tell you like what you've allowed. Do you have an allowance of unlimited? Do you want that website to be okay? Do you trust the website to be okay? If you know you got a stake ending every single month, then yeah, I probably wouldn't revoke it, because then you're paying more in gas fees, and it's like you got to pay gas fees to mint your hex into existence. You have to pay gas fees to revoke it again. So do you trust Hex? That's the question you have to ask, right? Do you trust the website that's authorizing you to do that? If it's a DeFi, a decentralized exchange, I'm probably going to be cautious about it, because again, I don't typically do a lot of transactions when it comes to those sort of websites. And do I trust them to be, good to go forever upon ever? So I'm going to do what I can to make sure to reduce the risk. I'm going to try to do everything I can to reduce the risk. That doesn't mean I'm going to be risk free. This is a risky ecosystem. Of course, crypto is volatile. Crypto is risky. You have the ability to literally, you could do everything right and then just click on one thing wrong and you're just SOL. So just be careful and cautious with it. Weird. I'm still streaming, so I will wrap it up for real quick while it still got me going. Yeah, weird.